No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. And for all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show. Along with Dave Manouk, along with Ezra Ginsburg, on a night where you have to find reasons for the glass to be half full for the Winnipeg Jets. We'll go with the reason that it was a quick game, and this post-game show is starting about 16 minutes earlier than we expected it to. So yay us, and for all those who enjoy an earlier bedtime, yay us.
Seriously, though, Drew, how many whistles were there in that third period? Like 4?
Not very many. It was both teams were happy to just let that game end.
I'm not complaining, by the way.
Yeah, both teams were happy to let that game end as quickly as humanly possible. You saw a combination today of what happens when Connor Hellebuyck is not on his game, when the Winnipeg Jets are not on their game, and when their opponent is a desperate Vancouver Canucks team. The Canucks handily beating the Jets 6-2. But at the same time, as handily as the final score was, if Nikolai Ehlers doesn't hit the crossbar seconds before the Vancouver Canucks score the 4-2 goal, it's all of a sudden a 3-3 game, and it's a whole different narrative that we're talking about tonight. Nonetheless, he did hit the post. The Canucks took over from there on. The Jets meekly go down to defeat 6-2 at the hands of the Vancouver Canucks. Gentlemen, great to see you both. Nice to have the band back together tonight here on the Illegal Curve postgame show.
Yeah, I missed a few shows there. I was a little bit under the weather, but glad to be back. And Drew, you mentioned Nick Ehlers rings iron. Also, Remember Mark Scheifele had that glorious chance right before that, right? So I just kept thinking in that second period, hockey's just such a funny sport. It's obviously the best sport. We're a little bit biased here, but I mean, this was not really as one-sided as the score indicates, right? And the Jets, for that matter, had the puck in the Canucks zone for most of that third period, right? Yeah. And I thought even though, maybe the first, 5 to 7 minutes of the first period wasn't great for the Jets, they weren't generating enough. It didn't take long for them to turn it up after. So you're down 3-1 after the first period, and I actually thought that was a pretty even period. So the Canucks, obviously, we're going to use the word desperate a lot. I mean, Calgary won tonight. I believe St. Louis won tonight, right? Like, that Western Conference race, guys, is certainly looking a lot more interesting than it was, 4-6 weeks ago. And it's really anybody's. I think Calgary still has 2 games in hand, if I'm not mistaken. So Vancouver needed this. They're going to go on that long road trip coming up, right? So they were desperate. And obviously, Pia Suter, when he makes it 5-2, I mean, it's obviously going to be hard for the Jets to – look, you can score 6 goals, but Kevin Lankinen played really well.
Yeah, and played Connor Hellebuyck tonight.
He did, and he was terrible when he was in Winnipeg. Let's not forget, not only did Kyle Connor score a hat trick, Dave, he scored a hat trick in the first period, right?
A natural hat trick at that.
Exactly. So, I mean, Lankinen obviously had something to prove. All of the talk, I was listening to Matt Sakaris on Winnipeg Sports Talk today. I mean, there was a lot of talk about how Brock Besser's been struggling, how Elias Pettersson's been struggling. Well, both of those guys stepped up in a big way. So it's not that the Jets played poorly tonight, Dave, because I actually thought they played pretty well. Kyle Connor was buzzing all over the ice. Obviously, Nikolai Ehlers had a beautiful goal. He was excellent. We talked about it. He hit the crossbar. Vancouver just outplayed them tonight. They were more desperate, and they jumped on their goals. Like Brock Besser's goal, we'll get into that in the Play Now game recap, but that's just not a goal that you see very often. Connor Hellebuyck can't hang on to the puck, and then he bats it in. So, sometimes you got to just say, the Canucks got the better of the Jets tonight.
Yeah, better goaltending in Vancouver, Dave, and they responded to being called out by their head coach. We know that it's been a difficult year in Vancouver, and that's putting it mildly, with all the drama between JT Miller and Elias Pettersson, and how that sort of has overshadowed the entirety of the season. Thatcher Demko out of the lineup more than into the lineup. And this is a Canucks team that was embarrassed on Sunday night on home ice by the Utah Hockey Club. And the question was, how would they respond? Rick Tocchet called them out and said, look, you can't do that. You can't be that. You can't have that kind of performance and expect to be a playoff team. And to the Canucks' credit, they did respond tonight. It certainly helps them that the Jets had an uncharacteristically sloppy game with poor defensive coverage. But, full marks for the people on the West Coast, they took advantage of their opponent's mistakes and capitalized with the victory.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. You can't look at this Canucks team and not think it's very disappointing. They were a 50-point team as the last year, 109 points. Now they have 32 wins, but they had 31 wins coming into tonight's game, and fighting their first last year in the Pacific, and now fighting for their playoff lives with Calgary, as you mentioned, Drew. Winning tonight, and I believe St. Louis leapfrogs both of them. So
Vancouver leapfrogs them back.
I guess with the win, they'll leapfrog back in. But the fact of the matter is, as he said, it's a very tight race right now out west. And you have to, like you said, you're 5-5. You lost to Utah on Sunday. You're pissed off. Your coach is pissed off. And, you had a good game. Now, I will say, and I agree, this was not Connor Hellebuck's finest hour.
Yeah.
And it was, as he said, it was one of those games where if he covers that puck at 3-2, that's a game that the Jets don't deserve to win. I mean, they didn't play terribly, but he didn't have a good game. And so the fact of the matter is that you very easily could have won that game. I mean, good teams still win games. They don't always deserve to win, right, boys? And so
but they don't usually win those games when the goaltending is bad. Sometimes you can play a bad game.
Yeah,
but
I agree. I agree with you, Drew. And that, but that's what but at the same time, I'm just saying that, we're not used to seeing, especially this year, Connor Hellebuck have an off night. I'm a little surprised. I mean, I saw your tweet during the game that you thought Eric Comrie would come in for the third period.
Yeah.
And I thought they might. I mean, the Oilers steamrolled Utah today 7-1. So the Oilers are feeling good about themselves, who are the Jets' next opponent. And I thought they might keep, Connor Hellebuck fresh. There's no point in keeping him in the net. Jets weren't coming back from a 5-2 deficit. They chose not to. It's their prerogative. But to me, he made a mistake behind the net where he, gets caught. He makes a nice reactionary save to prevent a goal from being put into the net.
That was the play on Jonathan Lekkerimäki where he comes out and dives and makes the save in the first period.
Yeah, but to me, again, like I said, like the biggest mistake by him, which we don't see, and again, like I'm not, we've lauded everything he's done throughout the course of this season as 68 games prior. There haven't been too many games where we've criticized his play, but I mean, he was just slow. He was slow to cover it up. Besser makes the play, and normally he gets that. He makes that save. No, it's not an issue. Then he looks behind him. So I just don't think he had his best. And when he's not at his best, and the Jets aren't, at 100% Christmas. And look, there's a lot of guys that are not bringing it right now. Nino Niederreiter, 13 games.
I'm going to say, Dave, the third line, that's kind of in my notes. That's what I had kind of circled. Like, obviously the Lowry switch, like Lowry and Barron switched. I don't know if you want to call it, I
like how they said on the broadcast, like they're like, well, Lowry's on the fourth line now. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they moved the two wingers up to the fourth line.
It's funny you mentioned that, Dave, because I didn't view it like that because I thought Lowry had a good game.
No, like, it wasn't Lowry. It wasn't. Kevin just got it wrong.
It was Nino and Appleton being demoted to the fourth line.
Well, so here's the numbers of the line switch. So for those of you just joining who maybe didn't watch the game, the first period had the lines as you would expect: Lowry with Appleton and Niederreiter, Tanev with Iafallo and Morgan Barron. So that was standard. At the end of the first period, to start the second, Adam Lowry started playing with Iafallo and Tanev. Barron started playing with Appleton and Niederreiter. Lowry, Tanev, and Iafallo in just under 7 minutes of ice time at 5-on-5. 9-1 were their shots, attempts in their favor. Conversely, earlier in the game, Appleton, Lowry, Niederreiter played 4 minutes and 34 seconds together at 5-on-5. Shot attempts were 8-0 for the opponent. Right. So you can see how caved in the original third line got to start the game and how dominant the revised third line was to continue the game at that point in time.
Well, and Dave, that made so much sense, right? Because Tanev was obviously influential, getting in on the forecheck, banging, crashing at the net for the Iafallo second goal, right? Like, so it made sense to elevate Tanev and Iafallo and demote Niederreiter and Appleton, who just weren't having a good game, and they haven't been playing well lately, and that's something to monitor, right? Like, obviously, guys, Tanev has played with Lowry in his first iteration with the Jets, right?
Yeah.
So you wonder if there's something there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a new look third line. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep that line together, to be honest with you.
Well, and the only thing I would say is that this team did come in having won 4 of 5. So before we go and throw the baby out with the bathwater, it is worth remembering that good teams can still have bad games. And this, again, I wouldn't say the team overall had a bad game.
No.
If you look at the numbers would bear that out. I think it's more just that there are individuals who didn't play particularly well. And we've already isolated 37, 22, 62. I still think 13 needs be doing a little bit more at 5-on-5. And
Sure.
so, again, like I said, I actually thought really the Nemestikov line was good. I mean, Ehlers was doing his Ehlers thing, and like as he said, if he gets that goal, I mean, it's a tie game and it changes the nature of that hockey game overall. I mean, he also, again, guys want to do sometimes you want to do almost too much. So, you saw that Ehlers tried to do the old Ehlers wind up from deep in the zone, then had the puck poked off his stick in the neutral zone. But I get why he's doing it. He's trying to just do his human zone entry thing and try and make something happen for his team. But, this was just one of those games where when Connor Hellebuck is kind of in that funk, you're in a bit of a trouble.
You're in a lot of trouble. Exactly right. It's sometimes, especially when the defensive approach and the positioning collapses alongside of it. It was just really offensively, the Winnipeg Jets were fine tonight. They had a number of grade A opportunities that Kevin Lankinen made some tremendous saves on. Defensively, they were a bit of a tire fire in their own zone, and that's not something that has happened very many times this year. You can count on the home game against Toronto. They weren't good in their own zone. The road game in Florida, they weren't good in their own zone. And this game tonight against Vancouver, they weren't good in their own zone, where it was sort of breakdown after breakdown after breakdown. About Appleton and Niederreiter. So at 5-on-5, Appleton played 11 minutes and 10 seconds. Shot attempts were 21-4. Not in his favor. So he got caved in. Nino Niederreiter played 10 minutes and 27 seconds at 5-on-5. Shot attempts were 16-3, not in his favor. So you can see that Appleton and Niederreiter, and it's not a surprise to anybody who's been watching this team as of recent, they've been quiet. They've been struggling.
I think it's something like 2 goals in their last 37 games. I think it was mentioned by Dan on the broadcast, Drew. Like, combined, obviously combined, right? Niederreiter's gone 14 games now, Dave, without a goal. Right. And look, I mean, this line has been a big part of the Jets' success. It's a big reason why they're first in the division, first in the conference, first in the league, right? And these guys are not playing their best hockey right now. That's why all I'm saying is, like, I would be going back to what I was talking about before. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe one of those players sticks up on the third line. Maybe Appleton gets demoted and you see maybe one of Iafallo or Tanev on the third line. I'm just saying, like, it's clearly Iafallo and Tanev are playing better right now than Niederreiter and Appleton, right? That's all I'm saying. So I'm not saying that, that's going to be the permanent third line going forward and heading into the playoffs. I mean, Drew just mentioned those numbers, like, and again, we're not crapping on Mason Appleton here. We're just pointing out that he's struggling. And, you brought in Brandon Tanev to give you more offense on that fourth line, and he has. And Alex Iafallo, what's he up to, 11 goals now? Yeah. And so, bump up the guys who deserve the ice time.
That's right. And the Jets have been good at that all season long. Scott Arniel has rewarded the guys who've performed. And right now, Iafallo and Tanev are performing more than Niederreiter and Appleton, and maybe switching something around and giving them a little bit of a lower role in the lineup gets them going. And the truth is, it's March 18th. The Jets don't need them going at full speed right now. They need them going for the start of the playoffs in about a month. So if these are the doldrums for that line, or for Niederreiter and Appleton, and then they can start to climb their way out of it, so be it. But, you certainly don't want these guys struggling to the way that they have been once playoff time comes around. which, like I said, is about a month away from now, or give or take a couple of days. Obviously, we don't know when the schedule is going to come out. Let's get into the goal-by-goal recap here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. The whole post-game show is brought to you by Play Now. The goal-by-goal recap is part of the Play Now game recap as well.
The Play Now game recap.
Big thanks to our friends at Play Now for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. All of our programming is, of course, brought to you by our friends at Play Now. Most importantly today, before we get into the nitty-gritty details, we have to say a big congratulations to Dave Funk. Dave Funk. I'm going to call him the Funkmeister.
I was going to say, that's one of the best names ever.
Funky Cole Medina, whatever his nickname may be, Dave Funk has won the 4 tickets, courtesy of our friends at Play Now, in conjunction with us here at Illegal Curve. Dave Funk is off to the Jets and the Oilers on Sunday, April the 13th, courtesy of our friends at Play Now. Hopefully,
it's a funkin' big win for Dave.
There you go. Hopefully the Jets will have a better performance on home ice on the 13th of April. But regardless, big congratulations to Dave. Thanks to all of you for entering the contest, the giveaway. If there's another one to come, I don't believe there will be, but if there is, if something to that effect changes, we will certainly keep you informed and give you the opportunity to also win tickets to a game, courtesy of our friends at Play Now.
Drew, is there still a Funk's Toyota?
I think there is. I think there is a Funk Toyota. If you're not, yes, I'm not sure that if anybody with the Funk Toyota family would like to get in touch with us, we have a lot of funky names and funky puns that we can bring to the table when it comes to an advertising possibility. So
could be a relation there to the Funk Toyota dynasty.
I think Funk is probably a relatively common last name, but you never know. You never know if there is. Maybe we'll find out. I'm sure he's probably regretting winning the contest as we continue to say his last name over and over and over again tonight here on the Illegal Curve post-game show. The Vancouver Canucks, they open the goal scoring tonight at the 4:55 mark. Drew O'Connor, great name, Drew. His 9th of the year, assist to Quinn Hughes. And
it's like the Irish version of you, Drew.
Yes, that's right. Exactly. If Drew O'Mindell just doesn't have the same ring of the roll of the tongue, it's a 3-on-2 opportunity, and it's a real nice passing play. You can see just when Quinn Hughes is on his game, and I thought he was on his game tonight for Vancouver, how special of a player he is, how dynamic of a player he is, and how important of a player he is for the Vancouver Canucks. And he is able to gain the zone, and he sets up Drew O'Connor with the perfect one-timer. Connor Hellebuyck going from Hellebuck's right to his left. He's not quite able to get over all the way, not quite quick enough, and the shot eludes him, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Vancouver Canucks, Ezzy.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to unmute myself there. My little sausage fingers, sometimes they get a little stuck together, and I don't unmute myself there. But I actually...
Hang on, we're getting informed by Quincy Frost that it's now Steinbach Toyota. The Funk family sold the dealership. So if anybody from Steinbach Toyota wants to get in touch with us, we're happy to obviously talk.
They want to sponsor us. We're also willing to we're willing to drive around funky Toyotas for the rest of the year.
Well, it's funny. I know people in Steinbach. I know people, that are familiar to the car business, to be honest with you. And I should have known that, but I just remember Funk's Toyota from back in the day. But Steinbach Toyota, shout out to them. Maybe they want to, throw me a new Corolla or a new. Do they still have Tercels?
I don't think they make the Tercel brand anymore.
Or the Celica. Remember the Toyota Celica?
I had a Celica.
Yeah.
A GTS.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave, you were using it to pick up chicks back in the day. Is that it?
I'm sorry, Drew. I don't talk about women like that, but go ahead.
Dave didn't need a car. Dave did it all with his mind. That's all Dave did. The ladies were in love with his intellect.
Speaking of Steinbach, just a complete off topic. Have you guys seen that beautiful new facility they have in Steinbach?
Yes.
The new arena there?
Yeah.
The Southeast Event Center or whatever it's called. Ooh. What a beautiful looking facility that is.
Yeah, it is. I think it's I should know this because it's going to be obviously a big venue for hockey with Hockey Manitoba.
Where the Steinbach Pistons are going to play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was something like a $20 million arena. Like there was a lot of money raised. I know that in Steinbach. Our old buddy Jeffrey Bannon He used to work for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Right.
He's involved with the new arena. I think it's called the Southeast Event Center, if I'm not mistaken. So it's great. I mean, anytime there's new facilities like that, especially in rural Manitoba, it's always a great thing. So I appreciate you getting that shout out in there for the good folks of Steinbach. It's a great town. But lest we digress, what I noted here, because my kids were in bed and I had time to PVR this and kind of go back and forth and look at this, like what I noted is that it looked like Mason Appleton, or it didn't look like Appleton was trying to get off the ice. Lowry laid a big hit. It turned into a 3-on-2.
Yeah. And
what it looked like to me is because there was a little bit of kind of miscommunication between Dylan DeMello and Adam Lowry on who to take here. And it was a nice 3-on-2 play, executed very nicely, but it was kind of like there was a little bit of this was the wrong goal I'm talking about here. It was Hayden Fleury and Colin Miller. That's, I think,
that's right.
Second or third goal I'm talking about here. But there was a little miscommunication. It was just a nice pass by Quinn Hughes to Drew O'Connor here. But that's kind of where it started for me, guys, was Nino Niederreiter had a good scoring chance right before that. Lowry, Niederreiter, if you remember, right in front of the net. And so Niederreiter's caught up the ice. Lowry goes for a hit at center ice. Appleton's trying to get off the ice. That's what caused the 3-on-2. And like I said, it was just a nice pass by Quinn Hughes to Drew O'Connor on the one-timer. And Hellebuck didn't have a chance on this one. Like Drew said, he's going right to left. So I didn't think there was any issue with the way Hellebuck played this. I just thought that, it was a little bit of a slow transition, and the Jets allowed the Canucks to get that 3-on-2 by just getting caught up the ice, Dave.
I don't love Lowry's read on this goal, Dave. I don't love him going for the hit there.
Yeah.
That sort of leads to all the problems. If he plays in more conservatively, I would say, then I think the Jets are in a better situation. Him going for the hit and the Canucks making the play is really what leads to the odd man rush. I think he goes for the hit on Linus Karlsson, and then that's the chaos ensues after that.
And to me, Drew, the problem usually, and Lowry usually has pretty good presence of mind, but he's got to realize, like, Nino Niederreiter is down on the ice after making the attempt in the Canucks crease. Mm-hmm. Mason Appleton goes for a hit and then just kind of stands around. That to me is the play.
And then you see him call to get the line change, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean though. Like, he basically is ineffective because he goes for the hit. He's a shade late, and then he's just kind of standing there, and he's in the neutral zone. And then Lowry, who's also going for the hit. So now you've got Nino back at the in the Canucks zone, and you got two Jets stranded in the neutral zone. So it's not exactly a great play. I mean, it's one thing, again, if you separate the man from the puck, but Lowry doesn't achieve that. So you're right, Drew. I mean, if you would, especially given the fact that Appleton had just made the play, so he knows he's the only forward left to really play some defense there. He goes for the hit, isn't successful in achieving his goal, which is to separate the man from the puck, and now they're trying to chase, and Appleton is ineffective because I guess he's used his energy to lay the hit. So he's he's basically gliding back. He's not doing anything to really help the situation. And then, Connor Hellebuck in this instance, I don't think he had any chance on this one. It's a well-played 3-on-2 for the Canucks. Mm-hmm. And then, it's in the back of the net and they're down 1-0.
Yeah, it takes just under 10 minutes, though, for the Winnipeg Jets to tie it up. And it's Nikolai Ehlers, who, again, showing the speed of that line with Nemesnikov and Perfetti. They gain the line. It's a 3-on-2 situation for the Winnipeg Jets. And Ehlers, you can see the Canucks defenders just sort of back off because the speed is potentially going to overwhelm them. So the Jets get the blue line clean. Ehlers with a nasty cut into the middle of the ice. And he's right between the hash marks when he lets go of the shot. The shot beats Lankinen clean. It's also our Seagram's shot of the game.
The Seagram's shot of the game.
Big thanks to our friends at Seagram's for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. You just see, Ehlers' speed and how dangerous he is here. The Canucks really do a good job coming all the way back to sort of make it a 3-on-3. But the way Ehlers cuts into the middle leaves defenseman Marcus Pettersson caught a bit flat-footed, which allows Ehlers to gain the space and get the time to be able to unleash the shot, Dave. And he cleanly beats Lankinen, something that wasn't easy for the Jets to do tonight as he was on his game.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen Nikolai Ehlers as he make that little move where he kind of gets it to himself and then cuts to the middle, and his shot is
I want to say at least 100 times.
on it. Well, we saw it at least twice in this game where he almost had mirror image goals. And yeah, I mean, it's just another example of what Nikolai Ehlers can bring to a team. I mean, he's got that blazing speed. He's got a phenomenal shot, and both of those things were on display. And like I said, it's a smart play. Vlad Nemestikov, I thought, actually made a number of real nice plays in this hockey game to set guys up for opportunities. Cole Perfetti had a good chance that he wasn't able to bury. And so, here's another instance where, what did the Jets do, right? As this is one of those plays where they're in the defensive zone. They recognize the play. And like I said, Ehlers gets a little pass to Nemestikov, who dumps it over to himself. And then Ehlers, creates the time and space. And again, Nemestikov, because he pushes forward, backs the defense off. So he creates that space for Ehlers to have that sort of the middle of the ice wide open. And like I said, he's deceptive. He's got a great shot, makes it, puts it into the back of the net. He's got 22 goals on the season, and it's suddenly a tied game 1-1.
Yeah, and just to add one thing, Drew, I know we're going to keep it to a short post-game show tonight because it's whatever it is, 11:45 right now, or 5:12.
5:12.
Yeah, we'll keep it short, but a few things. I made a note here. If you guys remember, Cole Perfetti stole the puck from Derek Forbort. He had a really good scoring chance right before that.
Well, it was really
which
nice
I wanted to
Canucks to just walk away. I've never seen that. They just sort of he took the puck and both Canucks players just sort of left.
Yeah,
they just sort of walked away from him, and
it was weak defensive coverage, weak checking, to put it mildly. You're right, Drew. I mean, it's like the Red Sea parted for Cole Perfetti there. But I just wanted to make a note of that. And the other thing I wanted to make a note of is just how quickly the Jets transition up the ice. Like I forget if it was Hronek. I think it was Marcus Pettersson, and who's Hronek's D partner there. And I think the shot was blocked in front of the net. And Dave's absolutely right. I mean, this goal is all about Nikolai Ehlers and the cutback and the nice shot and how many times he's done that over the years. But I just was so impressed. It was kind of similar in a way to the first goal, how the Canucks transitioned into a 3-on-2, right? Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was interesting that, I mean, that went from kind of like a broken play, like block shot in front of the net that didn't get through to Hellebuck, to the Jets just turning on the Jets. And that to me is the biggest difference between the Nemesnikov line over the last, 20 or so games, as opposed to the previous, what are we at? I guess 70 games. So 50 games, let's call it that. Like those types of transition plays, they're burying those now, right? Like they have the confidence that either get the puck to Hellebuck, or you're going to see a tic-tac-toe between Nemesnikov, Perfetti, and Ehlers. But I just wanted to mention that, how quickly they transitioned, and also the Perfetti chance. Because I thought in a night where you could easily say the third line, that was one of their weaker games of the year, the Nemesnikov line, I thought was really good tonight, even though they ended up losing by 4.
Yeah, Perfetti was definitely dangerous again, like he has been for the last number of games. The continued development of Cole Perfetti is the latest talking point. In throughout the course of the seasons, there's different talking points at different periods of time. But Perfetti's development lately has certainly been one of those. 1-1 at that point until there's about 91 seconds to go, to be exact, in the first period. It's a power play goal. Brock Besser, his 19th. Quinn Hughes and Jonathan Lekerimaki get the assist. This is with Hayden Fleury in the penalty box for the Winnipeg Jets, taking a tripping penalty. Brock Besser in the high slot, and it's a real nifty tip of a very educated shot by Quinn Hughes, and it's a 2-1 lead for the Canucks late in the second period. Late in the first period. Yep. At this point in time, real nice play by Brock Besser, and again, Quinn Hughes was definitely on his game tonight for the Canucks.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more I can add, Drew. I mean, it's just a nice tip by Besser. We talked about him right off the top of the show, right? That was his first goal in 12 or 13 games. He obviously got another goal in the game. He's up to 20, but this is a guy who had 40 goals last year. And that's why, if I'm not mistaken, there's a lot of talk that he's a pending UFA, right? So there's a lot of talk about, what his future is in Vancouver, right? Kind of similar to Nick Ehlers, right? Even though Nick Ehlers is on the verge of a career season, Dave, as opposed to Brock Besser, who's not having a great year. But I mean, you forget, I remember going down to UND several times to watch Besser. He's a fantastic player. So whether or not he stays with Vancouver, someone's going to pay him, because as far as I'm concerned, he still has, 25 to 30 goal potential, but it's just a really nice tip. And watching Quinn Hughes, like, to me, it's like almost watching a mirror image. Like, to me, like, most people will say Quinn Hughes is they'd rank him higher than Josh Morrissey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much higher you're ranking him, though. Like, to me, these are both top 10, top 5 defensemen in the league. Like, they do the same things. Maybe you give a slight edge to Quinn Hughes, but Josh,
I would give Quinn Hughes a slight edge. I think he's maybe, not that Josh Morrissey is slow by any stretch of the imagination, but Quinn Hughes might be a quarter of a step,
a little bit more elusive,
faster, a little bit more elusive.
Yeah.
He's really dynamic. Morrissey's dynamic, but Quinn Hughes is real. Quinn Hughes, I don't think is that far off from Cale Makar.
I really enjoyed Quinn Hughes in the Four Nations tournament.
Touche, Mr. Ginsburg. The Canucks make it 3-1. This is the real backbreaker. The Jets fought back in the second period to get within one, but this is a goal this is just a brain fart, Dave, that we haven't seen by the Winnipeg Jets this season. Nils Höglander gets his 6th of the year, assist to Besser and Elias Pettersson. This comes with 3 seconds on the clock. The Jets just stop playing. That's really what they do. They think the period's over because the Canucks have the puck deep in their own zone. The Canucks are just above their own defensive face-off circles when they quickly transition the puck up the ice. Nobody touches Brock Besser. He's able to gain the blue line of the Winnipeg Jets easily, takes the pass from Tyler Myers, finds Pettersson, and then Pettersson back to Besser, and then Nils Höglander is just going hard to the net because he's got nothing to lose, really, with 2 seconds to go in the period. He gets behind the defenders on this goal, the defenders being DeMello and Samberg. Again, bad all around by Niederreiter, Appleton, and Höglander beats Adam Lowry to the front of the net to make it 3-1 for the Canucks late in the first period.
And Drew, like, this one's a backbreaker because, as you said, it's something that's very uncharacteristic for this Jets team. We've seen them do it to other teams throughout the course of this season. We have not seen it happen. And in fact, I don't know if it was last game or the game before, but I said this is what they're doing is what we've seen previously happen to them, but we haven't seen this season. I'm not saying that they didn't have any late goals. I don't remember any in the last 5 to 10 seconds of a game this season. I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I just don't recall it happening. Unlike there was more of a frequency where we saw this. It's a little more characteristic of the previous few seasons. And it's bad presence of mind. You want to call it Drew's attention to detail, but I mean, look, you've got to be aware of the time on the clock. I mean, how many times do we see guys like peeking up to see how much time is left? And the captain is partly responsible. I mean, he's kind of dipsy doodling through the neutral zone. And what I was going to say about that line overall is it's one thing if you're not scoring, which again, if you're the Winnipeg Jets, you're not reliant on that third line to score. The occasional chip in of offense is great, but you can't be allowing goals against, you can't be a negative. And that is what we're seeing with these guys of late. Again, despite the fact that the Jets are winning, right? I did mention coming into tonight's game, they'd won 4 of 5 games. But at the same time, this line hasn't been playing optimally. And we saw it. We saw it again through this play. And so to me, when you see Adam Lowry, I mean, again, like I said, I don't know that I can ever recall Adam Lowry just kind of not having the presence of mind to see, okay, well, I got Höglander's going in front and he's unmolested. And, like I said, he's kind of caught puck watching. He's not aware that Höglander's behind him.
It's rare that he got outworked here. I mean,
but I don't. To be honest with you, Drew, I don't think he got outworked. I just don't. I think if he would have seen Höglander, he would
stopped working, Dave. I mean,
fine.
By letting Höglander get to the front of the net, that's
sure.
A sign that he thought the period was over. He stopped playing. He didn't play through the buzzer of the period.
No, absolutely. And again, like I said, it's a quick strike by like the Canucks played like the Jets usually do. They played fast. But I'm just saying that for this third line to be, if you're going to be getting that ice time, which it treats you more like a second line than a third, then you have to be more defensively aware. And again, they have been throughout the course of the season, but on this play specifically, they weren't.
I just want to say one thing quickly here, and I confused the first goal with the third goal here, as I tend to do, mix up my goals when there's a lot of goals. But
don't mix up your kids.
Well, exactly. But on this particular goal, like first, it's a beauty outlet pass by Tyler Myers to Brock Besser at the blue line. You mentioned that, Drew.
Yeah.
And to me, what it is here is it's like, and I slowed it down. I have it frozen here on my screen. Like it's actually a 3-on-4 for the Canucks. So there's 4 Jets back. So what happens is Brock Besser takes the puck, gives it to Pettersson. So Dylan Sandberg's doing his job. Sandberg's the left side defenseman. He's taking Besser, and what Besser does is he feeds it to Pettersson. And what happens is Dylan Sandberg is the right side defenseman. Looks like, okay, I got to go over to Pettersson, but then it's like Lowry wasn't sure if he should go over to Pettersson. And what ends up happening is Höglander just goes to the net and takes the pass, right? Like, so again, whatever you want to call it, it's poor defensive coverage with 10 seconds left, like you say, Dave. Like, you have to have that situational awareness, because that was a huge goal in the game, right? Like, we always talk, you mentioned backbreaker, like big difference between being down a goal versus 2 goals going into the second intermission. And it's just, again, a goal that was easily stoppable. Like, it was a unforced error is what I would say by the Jets. Niederreiter turns the puck over in the neutral zone, and like Drew said, and it's uncharacteristic mistakes by a veteran line, right? So, like, again, we're not going to spend too much time being hard on Lowry, because Lowry's obviously not only the captain, but he's one of the most consistent Jets on a night in, night out basis. And you got to say, maybe they were just tired, whatever it was. But it's a terrible mistake at a very costly time of the game.
Yeah, they got sloppy. I mean, they got sloppy, whereas a Vancouver, they got sloppy. They thought, 2 seconds, they can't do anything in 2 seconds. Well, Vancouver provided them with a reminder of what can happen in 2 seconds. And I honestly, again, if these things are going to happen, it's better that they happen when you have an 11-point lead in your division on March 18th, and it reminds you of just how long 2 seconds can actually be, rather than them happening in a crucial game in the playoffs. You don't want that negative reminder to happen at that point in time.
9-point lead.
Well, now it's a 9-point.
I see you saying as of the 18th.
And Drew, I know you want to keep going here and get into the Ehlers goal in the second period here, but I'm just watching. Or no, pardon me, the Iafallo goal. Sorry. Just as I watch these goals again, like, people are talking about Hellebuck stunk tonight. Aside from the Besser goal, how many of these goals were bad goals on Hellebuck? Like, that one wasn't. That was poor defensive coverage.
Yeah, but it's
the Besser tip goal wasn't a bad one. The Drew O'Connor one was a nice one. Like, I only think one of the 5 goals was bad.
But I think as he also made he made the mistake behind the net where
but then he made the crazy save, right?
Yeah. Right, but I'm just saying, like, it just, again, like I said, I just don't think he had his. I don't know. I just don't think
I will take no Connor Hellebuck criticism, Dave. This is a perfect year for Connor Hellebuck. No criticism.
First time all season, the Jets have given up 3 first-period goals. That stat, I think I saw that from Christian Amell of CJOB. There you go. 3-1 for the Canucks after 20 minutes. The Jets do pull within 1 goal at the 7:07 mark of the second period. It's Alex Iafallo, his 11th of the year, assist to Brandon Tanev and Luke Schenn. And it's just a hard-working goal. Adam Lowry, Brandon Tanev, they win a puck battle behind the net. They get the puck out to Dylan Sandberg. He gets it across to Luke Schenn. Schenn just throws it on the net. And there's a lot of traffic in front of Kevin Lankinen, and Alex Iafallo is there to sort of just, as it says on the NHL.com, poke shot it past the goaltender and into the net. There was a lot of different instances where there was traffic in front of Lankinen, where he made some saves on bouncing pucks and on in-tight plays. This is one that got past him. The Jets cut the lead to 3-2. Nothing pretty about it, but given the guys who are on the ice, you wouldn't expect it to be a pretty goal, just a hard-working goal where you throw something at net and you hope that you get some good bounces and some good body positioning.
Yeah, and obviously the switch, paid off immediately, right?
Mm-hmm.
Moving Lowry, or I guess not moving Lowry, but moving Tanev and Iafallo up with Lowry. Tanev was doing what you expect out of Tanev, getting in on the forecheck, going hard to the net.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, Luke Schenn puts the puck on net, and Iafallo does poke shot, net? Poke shot. There you go. It sounds like a snooker shot or something.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go have a poke shot for lunch tomorrow instead of a poke bowl. I'm going to have a poke shot.
Poke bowls are great with the edamame. I love it. But one thing I wanted to mention too, I'm not sure if that happened before the Jets made it 3-2. The collision, again, we're going to keep tonight's post-game show relatively short. We want to keep
We're
going.
already at the 40-minute mark, and we still have 3 goals to go.
Okay, but I think it's worth mentioning, guys. I mean, that was a very scary situation, and I'm not sure.
This happened after the DeMello. You talking about the DeMello?
It was after
this goal.
Yeah, but shortly after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why DeMello wasn't pulled out by the concussion spotter.
They were getting popcorn, is he?
Yeah, it's funny, Dave, but obviously Eric
Connor Harabchuk was distracting them up in the press boxes. Really,
no, but I mean that was scary when you watch the reverse angle of his head hitting the boards. I'm just like, obviously, I'm with you guys. Like Dylan DeMello was very slow to get up, and he didn't miss a shift. So yeah. I mean, he's obviously tough as nails, but I just was surprised. I just wanted to throw that out there that I was surprised that DeMello wasn't pulled out by the concussion spotter. That's all. Maybe I'm alone here, but I don't think I am, because I think Mike McIntyre was tweeting about that. He's in Vancouver. He thought he was going to be pulled, Dave, but I mean, luckily he's okay. But I mean, you could see even Jake DeBrusk was really concerned for him on the ice.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It's and it just goes to show you the sort of the vagaries in the concussion spotting world. And I don't want to, that Comrie got pulled for the concussion spotter in Seattle, and at the same time tonight DeMello doesn't get pulled for the concussion spotter. We talked about how close the Jets came to tying the game up with Nikolai Ehlers hitting the post, and then Mark Scheifele having a very good opportunity that Kevin Lankinen makes a save on, and then the Canucks get that back-breaking 4-2 goal. This is the one that nobody's going to like, including Connor Hellebuyck. This is, with DeMello on the ice as it happens. It's a relatively routine DeMello was not on the ice. He was on the ice for the 5-2 goal, not the 4-2 goal. It's a relatively routine shot from Marcus Pettersson. There's nothing especially difficult about it. It's a shot that Connor Hellebuyck cleanly saves numerous times, and just for whatever reason, he isn't able to gather it clean on this one, and Brock Besser just pokes it through Connor Hellebuyck to make it 4-2 with 6 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the second period. Just again, uncharacteristic of the Winnipeg Jets goaltender. This is one that he, 999 times out of 1,000, he makes a clean save with no rebound here.
Yeah, you're 100% right, Drew. You just don't see this very often. Not just from Hellebuyck. You just don't see these goals a lot in the NHL. And I don't know about you guys, but I thought that one might have been called back. Like, obviously, you didn't hear the whistle, but I thought maybe, it was just odd. Like, it looked like Connor Hellebuyck had that covered 100%. And then it was on the replay where I was like, okay, that was actually very skilled by Brock Besser to poke at it as he was covering it. So I just thought that's all I was going to throw out there. Was I just thought that was it was strange. It was a strange goal. Like you said, you just don't see that from Hellebuyck. But again, Dave, you don't see that from many. You just don't see that goal a lot at the NHL level, because most goalies, that's so routine for a goalie to cover a puck up like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, as he's right, and there's not much to add. But to me, this was the goal that killed the Jets, because again, in a game that you're not playing your best, I'm not saying that some guys weren't playing well, but overall as a team, and hockey's a team game, last I checked, the team overall wasn't playing particularly well. And again, I know the numbers bore out the fact that the Jets were in this game, but like, you looked at that and you thought to yourself, okay, well, it's a fairly routine play, hits him in the pads, he's going to clear it. I mean, you could say Morrissey wasn't on Besser, but I think, to be honest with you, I think Morrissey has seen Connor Hellebuyck make that save and stop so many times that he really wasn't anticipating it being anything of danger. You could still say, okay, well, maybe you need to tie up the stick to ensure that it doesn't become a problem. But that was the sort of critical mistake, I thought, that really ended the game for the Winnipeg Jets. Again, this Jets team it surprises us. They have throughout the course of the year. So would they have tied the game down 4-2? Maybe, but it just was one of those plays where you thought to yourself, okay, well, that should do it, because the Canucks are the desperate team. They got called out by their coach, and the Jets, for whatever reason, just don't have it going on.
Yeah, exactly right. Then you can see that the game is effectively over at this point in time, because 46 seconds later, Pius Suter gets his 19th of the year assist to Kiefer Sherwood and Jake DeBrusk. And again, it's a relatively routine play. It's a dump in. Dylan DeMello goes to get it. A strong forecheck by the Canucks. The Jets have too many guys behind the net trying to gather up a loose puck. Shifley's back there. DeMello's back there. Morrissey's caught a little bit in no man's land. Suter comes out from behind the net, and Sherwood with a great pass right in front of him. Nobody's touching Suter. He's able just to poke it past Connor Hellebuck, and it's 5-2 at that point in time. And it's all said and done for the rest of the game. There is, of course, an empty net goal. But
did he poke shot it, Drew?
He didn't poke shot it. It's apparently a wrist shot. It's amazing how the Alex Iafallo goal was a poke shot, but this one, which didn't look that dissimilar.
This was literally a tap in.
Right. It's called it, but apparently it's called a wrist shot, if you believe NHL.com.
There was nothing about that was a wrist shot. I'm sure that will be changed, or if anybody cares. I don't know if Toyota Pia Suter cares. I don't know if you guys caught that one there that I did that. But and Kiefer Sherwood on the all stick team. But yeah, I mean, it's again, like you said, it's Pia Suter that actually knocks DeMello off the puck.
That's
and like
he's
you said,
first in on the forecheck.
Yeah, he's first in on the forecheck, and like it's just the Jets are a little bit slow there, and the Canucks jump on it, and Kiefer Sherwood returns the pass to Suter, who comes out from behind the net, and again, it's just like the Jets just weren't sharp. I hate to use the attention to detail, but really, like, whether it's the Brock Besser fourth goal with Connor Hellebuck just being a little bit slow covering the puck, whether it's, the third goal that we talked about, the defensive breakdown with Adam Lowry and Dylan DeMello on that 3-on-2 goal that happened late in the first period, whatever it is, guys, like this was just an uncharacteristic game. And the good news is, boys, the Jets can have uncharacteristic games. It's March 18th and they have 98 points and they have a 9-point lead in the Central Division in the Western Conference. So the Jets are allowed to have one stinker every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly right. 6-2, the empty net goal with 4 seconds to go. Pius Suter getting his 20th of the year. Very quiet 20-goal season for him, but impressive nonetheless. Bad night comes to an end for the Winnipeg Jets. Go ahead, Dave.
I would just say, the other thing we should mention is Jets luckily avoid an injury to Josh Morrissey, right? He gets that shot. I mean, as he mentioned, the DeMello went into the boards. Right. Josh Morrissey blocks I think it was, what's his name? Hughes took the shot and knocked it. You could catch him in the foot or in the leg. I think it was in the foot, and he was in some pain, walked to the tunnel, and they showed that on the television, of course, and then he must have walked it off because he came back and played. And then also Mark Shifley on the chance that, as he mentioned, where he goes tumbling into the boards and then has the one of the Canucks players fall on him. So there was like a segment where it was like DeMello's down, Morrissey's down, Shifley gets fallen on. You're like, okay, you might lose the game, but you don't need to lose all those players. And luckily for them, it seems like everybody was fine. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, ultimately this is one of those, just leave it behind and move on to the next one. Because the next one's not gonna be so easy when you play an Oilers team that's won 3 games in a row.
And they pumped the Utah Hockey Club 7-1 tonight on home.
How does Draisaitl, who's second in the league in scoring, not have a point on 7 goals? Like
this sounds like a guy who's got Draisaitl on his hockey pool who's upset about the scoring.
No. I'm actually not in any hockey pools this year, Drew. I just was looking at the box score and I'm like, okay, McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, looking for Draisaitl. Just again, hockey sometimes is a weird sport when one of the best goal scorers in the league gets no points in a 7-goal game.
You're right about that. When we come back on the Illegal Curve post-game show, a little bit more about tonight's loss in Vancouver, and we'll get you set for the Jets and the Oilers on Thursday night. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg with you. It's now, what is this now? Wednesday morning. Smash that like button. Smash it. There you go. Smash it, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. We'll be back with more of the Illegal Curve post-game show.
We want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling sites instead.
Because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
Or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime, visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre. Holt Dental, the new official dentist of Illegal Curve, has a philosophy rooted in two unyielding principles: genuinely caring about patients and providing outstanding service. Being a patient of Holt Dental means more than just checkups and treatments. It's taking the time to listen and talk to each patient so they can achieve the best long-term health, functionality, and aesthetics for their teeth, mouth, and gums. Conveniently located at Grant Park Festival on Taylor Avenue, Holt Dental is dentistry of the highest quality in a comfortable and relaxed environment. For more information, visit holtdental.ca. Oh, and there's plenty of free parking at the front door, too. Celebrating its 40th year as Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best and most affordable live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For more information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
At Boston Pizza, a fast lunch doesn't have to mean fast food. Now you can get a $15 lunch served in just 20 minutes, including your choice of a main, side, and drink. That's right, lunch for $15 at your local Boston Pizza.
We are back Wednesday morning. The Illegal Curve post-game show rolls on. Drew Mandel, Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg with you. The off day for the Winnipeg Jets. They're traveling to Edmonton, so there will be no media availability tomorrow, I guess tonight, depending on what time they all get to Edmonton, but they'll get set for what should be a much better performance you would expect and a good entertaining contest between the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers up on Thursday night. Post-game right around 10:45 or so. So you can mark that in your calendar on Thursday night, the post-game show between the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. Best way to make sure that you don't miss a minute is to subscribe to the channel and turn your notifications on. Ring the bell, as we like to say. That way you get informed each and every time we go live here on the Illegal Curve YouTube channel. With the loss tonight, the Dallas Stars move within 9 points of the Winnipeg Jets. The Stars still with those 2 games in hand. They had a come from behind victory over the Anaheim Ducks. The surprising part is that they were ever behind the Anaheim Ducks in the first place, but they were, and they ended up winning.
Let's not forget, Drew, the Ducks beat the Jets twice this year.
I know. You know what I'm saying.
And the Capitals won, so the Jets are now tied with 98 points.
There you go. Yes, the Capitals beat the Detroit Red Wings. So, yes, 721 points percentage for the Washington Capitals and a 710 points percentage for the Winnipeg Jets, as the Jets have played that extra game over the Washington Capitals. So there's your quick look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
But for those who have been paying attention, and even though I wasn't on Saturday's show, being the loyal guy that I am, I still watched, and Dave mentioned he actually wants the Jets to finish second because of the historic significance of winning the President's Trophy, right, Dave? I was listening, right? You said, what's it been, 7 times that a Stanley Cup winner has won the President's Trophy in the last 37 years, something like that?
Eight times,
right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want to win the West. You want to win the West. As far as I'm concerned, the President's Trophy is useless. I mean, that's just me. I know the Jets have never won the all I'm saying is, at the very least, you want to get first in the West. Well, winning the President's Trophy is nice, but it doesn't traditionally. Winning the President's Trophy doesn't necessarily translate into playoff success.
Well, the only thing I'll say is that, again, 8 times in the last 37 years, the President's Trophy winner has gone on to win the Stanley Cup 8 times, which is the most of any other position of the 16.
Yeah.
Second most interestingly is fourth.
Right.
I think they've won 6 times, and then second, seventh, and eighth for whatever reason have won 4 times. So
look, banners fly forever. And if you win the President's Trophy, it's an incredible accomplishment of what you've done for 82 games. So I will disagree with you on that one, Mr. Ginsburg. The Jets are going to win the West. I mean, let's be honest.
Wow.
I'm with Drew. 9 point. Does Dallas have 1 game in hand or 2?
2 games in hand.
They have 2. I still don't think 9 points is too much to make up.
The Jets would have to collapse. The Jets would have to go, 500 at best. Exactly. And Dallas would have to play 12-2 or something in their last 14 games, 15 games.
Why the game on Friday was so huge, right? It was a 4-point swing game.
That's why.
And the Jets won the clean 2 points. Exactly. And I'm with Drew. I mean, look, is there a chance that Dallas could catch the Jets? Yes. But we talk about this all the time. Guys, there's only 12 games left or 13 games left in the season, right? Like to make up 9 points, even if you have 2 games in hand, is going to be very difficult. So, I mean, it could happen, but unlikely, I would say.
92.5% possibility that the Jets are going to finish first in there.
Numbers don't lie, Drew.
Yeah, never have, never will.
They've never gotten anything wrong. Ever.
That's right.
Never.
That's it for us here on tonight's.
Wait, you don't want to talk about Marcus Lopanen's goal and assist for the Victoria Royals?
I don't. I'm going to go to bed. In fact, I'll let you talk about that in your private. You can start your own YouTube channel, or you can start
my
your
own. No, so I'm sorry. Is this your YouTube channel, Drew? Is that what you're telling me?
But when
interesting, Ezzy. I didn't know we were here at Drew's behest.
Well, the thing is, there's no I in team, but there is an I in Mindell, right?
Yeah, I'm right. There is, and this Mindell needs his beauty sleep.
All right. Well, we'll just say Victoria Royals. 2024 5th rounder Marcus Lopanen, goal and an assist.
We should have an automatic self-destruct button every time Dave says the word Lopanen. He just blows up or something, and his screen just blows up.
I think Dave's just giving it to me because it was at the beginning of the year. It was Kevin He mania, and then it switched to Kieran Walton mania, and now it's Marcus Lopanen mania.
Yeah, it's a lot of manias. The mania, I think the
mania is the right part.
Than maniacal. I think that's the root of that. Big thank you to everybody for joining us at this late night edition of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Appreciate all your support, and a big thank you to all the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, Play Now, Holt Dental, Boston Pizza, City Place, and Seagram's support these fine businesses because of their continued support of Illegal Curve Hockey. We'll be back on Thursday night for the Jets and the Edmonton Oilers postgame right around 10:40 p.m. Until then, illegalcurve.com is your destination for all your latest Winnipeg Jets news, audio, video, everything under the sun related to hockey in Manitoba. For Dave Minuk in the top right, for Ezra Ginsburg in the bottom middle, I'm your host, Drew Mindell. Dave has changed his background and freaking me out by doing so. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Smash the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. And, of course, turn on your notifications. Until Thursday night, we wish you good night and good luck. And thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast from Illegal Curve Hockey. For more great Illegal Curve content, subscribe to the Illegal Curve YouTube channel, follow at Illegal Curve on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and visit your online home for hockey in Winnipeg, illegalcurve.com.